Westfield Memorial Hospital provides high-quality health care to residents of Western New York, offering patients the most sophisticated medical advancements while keeping the ease and familiarity of a community hospital. Support for Chautauqua Sunrise has been provided by WRFA 107.9 FM, Jamestown's public radio station, streaming online 24/7 at WRFALP.com. Low power to the people. Chautauqua Sunrise is made possible by a grant from Fredonia Place, a continuing care retirement community providing dignity in a modern luxury environment. Meter's Restaurant, a family tradition for over 50 years in downtown Ripley, is a proud supporter of Chautauqua Sunrise. Meter's provides all-day dining, banquet services, and custom catering, specializing in pie. Funding for Chautauqua Sunrise is provided in part by the Chautauqua County Industrial Development Agency, with offices in Jamestown, Dunkirk, and Westfield, helping businesses to prosper throughout Chautauqua County. From supporting people with disabilities to enjoy great lives to providing health care services that are available to anyone, the Resource Center has been improving our county for more than 60 years. Learn more about how the Resource Center makes a positive difference in people's lives. From the Access Chautauqua Studios in Mayville, it's Chautauqua Sunrise. Chautauqua Sunrise is hosted by Doc Hamels and supported by the award-winning volunteers at Access Chautauqua. We are here to share local news, colorful interviews, and events of interest to everyone. Chautauqua Sunrise is broadcast live Saturday mornings each week from 9 to 10 a.m. Send events via email or call us live. Check us out on YouTube and Facebook. And now, from the Access Chautauqua Studios, it's Chautauqua Sunrise.
Good morning, everyone, and good afternoon, and wherever you are in the world, hello. Glad you could join us. We got a great show in store for you. We're going to cover some really interesting and great agencies and work that's going on throughout the county here in a little bit, so please stay tuned. I want to remind you that if your club or organization has an announcement, you can send it to us. You can't call in today. We're pre-taping this show, okay? So, bring that back. You can email us at chautauquasunrise@gmail.com. You can also call us during the week and leave a message at 716-753-5225, and we'll be happy to get your organization, your club, an anniversary, your birthday, whatever. We're happy to share that with the world, okay? So it doesn't cost a thing. We're happy to do it for you. It's public access here, okay? So we were going to have a live show, but due to scheduling issues and so forth, we ended up having to pre-tape this. So we are now the week after Thanksgiving, and I hope you all had a great opportunity to be with family and friends, just enjoyed your time together and stayed safe. We are now towards the end of November, and it seems hard to believe that we are, less than a month away from Christmas. And it seems like we were just running around in shorts and sandals and 80 degrees. Okay, so anyways, for those of you watching in, please don't try calling in to ask a question or whatever, because there'll be nobody here to answer it. But you can watch the show over and over again, and we'll try to make sure we provide phone numbers for information. And as I was talking with my guest earlier, we are a resource. I always mention this to you, that if you see a show and you say, wow, what did they say about whatever it was? For instance, Walt Pickett's book that we talked about last week, you can go back to YouTube, look up Chautauqua Sunrise, put in the person's last name or the date of the show or something like that, even the month and the year, and up comes the shows, and you can listen to the show, and find out whatever it is you're looking for. So happy to be there. I want to remind people also, we're in the throes of the hunting season, and I mentioned this last week, is that it's not so much concern about hunters as much as it is the wildlife that's moving ahead of them that could be crossing your path on the roads as you're traveling. And especially when you get out like where we live, out in where it's very wooded, or cornfields, grape vineyards and so forth, the deer are running away from the hunters, or turkey. I mean, turkey, you hit a turkey, you're gonna have a lot of damage, all right? But if the deer coming out of their woods, they'll jump and run right into your car and spin you right around. So just be cautious that it's that time of year, okay? And for all those of you who are hunting, be safe out there, and good success to you. All right, so I see Justin has put up our complimentary string of lights, and I don't think you can see them. We'll see them here in a little bit, but we've also switched up some of the pictures in the room for, well, to get you into, there we go. Isn't that spectacular? There it is. Okay, there it is. We got our winter scenes. It's hard to believe that we're already into the throes of the pre-winter season, I guess you'd call it. Anyway, so we got a funny little story of our family. So my son, my oldest son Scott, has moved back to the area with his wife, and he's really into Christmas decorating and lights and all that sort of thing. And I mean, it's like one of those Christmas movies you watch, you know. And so my daughter, she wanted to get into the middle of all this, and she says, we should have a family competition. I go, what? So when you put that up that single strain of lights there, it reminded me of how I decorated. I have one big string of lights. You would, I know. This was just a teaser for the holidays. We're just getting started. You would have put up you would have taken over my whole spot here, I bet, with a tree. Some people are really into Christmas, and that's great. I just try to, you got to understand, where I live, you can't decorate as well as people that live in sheltered areas like cities, because we get 65-mile-an-hour gusts up on the escarpment, and the next thing I know, my Santa Clauses are in Sherman, or the lights are busted into little tiny pieces because they get blown all over the place. So anyways, I have my token string of lights in my tree, and so that's my entry for this year's competition. So it's always kind of fun. Okay, let's see what else is going to talk about today. Remember that we are streaming we're streaming right now, pre-taped around the world, and if you are watching us, please hit us a like or drop us a note. We keep records of where we cover throughout the world, and we're all across the United States now. We even got up into Alaska not long ago. We're into Asia, into Europe, and we just get a kick out of that, and we enjoy hearing from you. My cousin over in the Netherlands, friends over. I can't wait. Let's see, maybe about 2 weeks from this show, our crew is, part of our crew, 3/4 of our crew is going to be in Hawaii, and they're going to be, you're going to have to learn those words, that Malik and, that Hawaiian Christmas. No.
I can barely speak English.
Anyways, your dad is promised that he's going to call in on the show, and so we'll be able to put a pin on Hawaii. Just imagine that being broadcasting all the way across half the way around the world. Very, very cool. So lots of fun. All right. We weren't able to bring down a whole lot of announcements for this week, other than that last week I went through a list of the various main topics from Chautauqua Institution for the coming season, and I do encourage you to go to their website, have a look around. There's lots of very pertinent and relevant topics from today, and you may be interested in checking out that particular week and what speakers they're going to have. And I see there's going to be some pretty good speakers this year, as always. So other than that, we're going to be covering some doings in Jamestown here shortly with my guest. And with that, we're going to take a little break right now, and we'll be right back. So this is for you, so stay tuned, and we'll be with you shortly.
At Social Security, we are always thinking of ways to save you time and make things easier. That's why we created My Social Security. A My Social Security account allows you to access your earnings history and benefits information, request a replacement Social Security card, get a proof of income letter, estimate and apply for benefits, and more. Save time. Go online. Open a My Social Security account at ssa.gov/myaccount. Social Security. Securing today and tomorrow.
Produced at U.S. taxpayer expense.
You know, growing up, I never realized that where am I? There I am. I never realized how important your Social Security number is until you kind of like get your first job and you had to buy a house or you get into sign up for this or that. So for those of you who are watching, especially there if you're younger, it's not a bad idea to do just what they recommend there is open up your own account with Social Security because you're going to be using it for the rest of your life, one way or the other, and it's going to be one of your identifiers for various services as you grow older. Okay, enough said on that. So today I want to welcome Pat Smeraldo, who is representing a host of different events and organizations throughout this region. And welcome, Pat.
Thank you, Doc. Thank you for having me. Appreciate it.
Absolutely. And thanks for pinch hitting here. I mean, I got a text from Steve Watterson that says you were coming in because Terry Johnson couldn't make it. And but we're happy to have you. And as it turns out, we have history years ago.
We do.
I mean, I was trying to figure out how long ago. I mean, that goes back probably into the late 90s.
Absolutely,
I think, somewhere in there. So I haven't seen you since then.
I have not either, yeah.
So as I told you, I always have my guests tell a little bit about their background, or as much as you want to share. Sure. And so where you born and where you raised and all that good stuff?
Born and raised in Jamestown, New York. You know, my 53 years I've been here. I graduated Jamestown High School. I am also an employee of Jamestown High School. Now in my 27th year. I'm a adaptive phys ed teacher this year, so I travel the district working with kids with disabilities and different students that might be at risk of graduation. And I do a bunch of community work and have a family. I have a wife and two boys, 16 and 12.
You want to say hello to the boys? Your wife?
They will be up. I'll make them be up when this is theirs. They're 16 and 12, both students in Jamestown, great kids. And my wife's also a teacher of students with disabilities in Jamestown. And it's our home. We've been here. Came out of a family business when I was a kid, and we've been in Jamestown and tried to stay
involved. What was the business?
It was a mom and pop carpet and tile store in Jamestown, New York. It was 42 years. My parents had it, and it wasn't my style. I'm not a real carpet guy.
Was it that one down on Faulkner Street?
It was on Windsor Street.
Oh,
it was
Windsor.
on Windsor and Crescent. Yeah, They now replaced by a Dollar General, which Dollar Generals are everywhere. So
they're everywhere.
Yeah, they are everywhere. So yeah, I've been in Jamestown my whole life, and I try to stay involved with whatever pops up. And like I say, my home is Jamestown Public Schools. That's where I've been for in my 27th year.
So you use the word adaptive PE. I don't think a lot of people know what that is.
Adaptive PE is providing a service or additional services to kids with disabilities in PE, in gym, so that you help with their movement and their socialization and their play. If you were to come in, you being a former administrator, I joke about this all the time. I travel the district, 9 buildings, and I have couple classes at Fletcher Elementary in Jamestown, 2 12-on-1s, kids with disabilities, probably 5 to 8 years old. If you were to walk in there at any given time, you would probably say, Pat, there's a cardboard box there, put your stuff in that box, and you got 15 minutes to pack and get out of here. Because it's just free play and just excitement for the kids. We have tricycles out and yoga balls and gator skin balls, and they're just running around playing and doing all kinds of neat things. And it's literally, it's the thing that keeps me sane right now. I mean, it's play with the best kids in the world, and they light up when I see them, and they do the same for me.
So adaptive is that you're translating an activity that children that do not have a disability would do normally, but you find a way to make it adaptive. Are you involved with like Special Olympics and things like that?
I am. I help with Special Olympics. I'm involved with that. I fall to the guru of it in Chautauqua County, Bobby Gould's a friend of mine.
Bob Gould, Goomba.
Bobby is the guy.
Yeah, so he's been doing that forever.
Yes, he has, and he's a blessing to our county. He's retired and still does it.
Did you know who did it before him?
I do not.
Carl Scarpino.
I didn't know that, really. I know Carl. I didn't know that. It's a huge undertaking.
First time, I was like a first-year teacher in the early 70s, And Carl is standing in front of the youth center, I think it was, and he's got his hands in his pocket, and he's standing there. He says, "You come to my Olympics." I go, "What are you talking about?" And from there, that's how we met, and we became great friends from there on. Him and Marilyn and so forth.
I worked with Marilyn too with the team program. And
Yeah,
stuff in the years.
yeah,
they're great people.
So and then where you and I knew each other, you were working in our evening, what was it, out of school program? I guess it was called.
Night school.
Night school. It was for kids that were struggling during daytime, and BOCES had set it up. And Paula Kennison, I think, was the administrator. I hired her. She worked with you or hired you. I can't remember all the details because it's like another lifetime ago. But so like I said,
alternative ed, it was great. We still have a PLP program now. It's a daytime thing we do at Jamestown. I service them for phys ed, for the high school kids. But it's just for a kid. It's Jamestown High School is a big building, 1,200 kids, whatever. There's a lot of distractions. There's a lot of it's craziness sometimes. So that smaller kid needs a smaller environment, smaller room, and I love that. I just had a great experience there the other day. It was awesome.
Well, just talking a little bit about all people think, oh, that's Welcome Back Kotter. Well, it sort of is, but the whole idea is it's not the misfits. It's kids that truly can be successful in a different environment.
Absolutely.
And when I was in charge of the Hughes Center, we had some programs there with Dynamite. I know you guys were running them, and some of your crew came over to BOCES and worked with us, and vice versa. And there's a lot of success stories out there. These kids could have fallen through the cracks big time.
Try to find a plumber. That's what I always tell kids now. Try to find a plumber right now. I have a buddy who's a plumber. He's one of the more successful ones in the county. He's on a 4-month wait. We got away from that everybody had to go to college. We can't find an electrician right now. You can't find a plumber, construction guys, things like that. So CTE classes, alt-ed, those picking on those special need kids that they have that talent, A lot of computer graphics kids come out of those things. It's a needed thing we have. So that's great. Well, I'm glad to hear that you're involved and things are still running that many of us created years ago, and so it's great. Okay, so and you said your wife is a special ed teacher as well. She is. She has for 18 years. Yep.
What level does she teach?
She's never been to high school. She's a middle school teacher. She's been in self-contained rooms in middle school. She went to an elementary room, did resource room. Now she's back at Purcell Middle School, and she's a 15-1. She pulls kids out of the classroom to give them special instruction and buff them up on topics and things like that. But she's at Purcell, and she loves that. She's the stuff that she does with her kids, and when we were able to do this, I remember I helped her with my other company, the Resource Center. She was big on experiences and took the kids to the movie theater, not to watch the movie. They did do that, but they did a field trip on how the movies operate.
Right, behind the scenes.
Behind the scenes. They did that with Wegmans, too. They went to Wegmans and they did a tour of Wegmans, and they went behind the scenes and stuff like that. So she's really, they've written letters to presidents of the United States and had responses and stuff.
Cool.
Yeah, they're into that stuff. So she's great at stuff like that.
Yeah, for a number of years I taught that. I don't even know what middle school ages are now. I want to say 12.
In Jamestown, yeah.
Around that
10
age.
to 13-ish.
Yep, that was a great time in my life.
Great, yep.
Bob Terryberry and I, we had in Brown, we started, Ann and I started the program.
Yeah.
We had a 224-3.
A 224-3.
It was 2 teachers, 24 kids, and 3 aides. And we had a blast.
That's awesome.
So, we had the best of everything as far as the resources to bring it all together, and it was a great thing.
I taught middle school for 10 years.
I don't think anybody does it anymore, but so I had a lot of those kiddos, and and some great success stories.
Sure, absolutely.
So that's all good. Okay, you mentioned the Resource Center, so what's your role with them?
So the Resource Center, 13 years ago, I literally answered an ad in the paper that said about working for a company called Connections, which I didn't know what that was, and it was working with at-risk kids. It was, if you and I were to read this ad, that was right up our alley. I applied, and it was at the time was a collaboration between Chautauqua Opportunities and the Resource Center.
COI, okay.
COI, yep. They were looking for someone, went through a couple series of interviews. Finally, at the last interview, I was with the 2 CEOs, Paul Chisana and Roberta Keller, were in the room.
Knew both of them.
Yep, and they started to tell me what they were doing. And there's a company called Chautauqua Connections, Inc. It's a member corporation of the Resource Center. And this company started in '93. I just had a meeting with the folks there the other day, and they had a similar concept of working with children and the community and stuff extended from school. And they were looking for an independent service coordinator that basically the premise came down to they were getting kids at 8, 9, and 10 years old with delays and disabilities, and they couldn't figure it out why of it was happening. You know, they had all these services in Chautauqua County, why was it happening? So I joke about this, but at the final interview, I've never worked with kids under 5 years old. I'd always a high school phys ed teacher and coach and stuff like that. The job was to go out and study the system of birth to 5 for 3 years in Chautauqua County.
Wow.
And find out, you know, how the kid gets to the service, who refers them, who pays for it, what happens after the service, and what have you. So that's literally what I did. And I would
Because at one point it was pretty much our quilted, you know, services here, there, and everywhere.
Absolutely.
Everybody working in their little silos.
Silos, and that was what it boiled down to. So that's what I did. I walked on round for 3 years in the county and knocked on everybody's door, from county, you know, early intervention to services and whatever, you know, and they asked those questions. How does the kid get here? Da, da, da. 3 years later, I go back to now it's Paul and the resource center, and he said, you know, I'm scared, petrified, you know, 3 years of work, like you paid me, like what?
Show me what you got.
Yeah, and he said, what do you have? And I said, nobody talks to each other. They don't talk, they don't communicate, they're in their silos. If a grant comes out, everybody goes for the same grant, the service gets deleted and diluted and what have you. And I thought I was done. I said, thank you for the opportunity, I appreciate it. And he said, okay, I'm rolling your contract over, get them to talk. Okay, so then we formed the Chautauqua Connections Children's Coalition. And that basically is an offshoot from Connections. We meet, with COVID it's been a little different, but we were meeting 3 times a year, usually after school, you know, 3 to 5, something like that. And we did an all-day summer meeting. And it was basically, I'm a traffic police officer, I'm a cop, where, you know, people would come into rooms and they would say, well, we're starting this program, but we're lacking this. And I'm like, okay, well, you need to get with her and talk to her and stuff like that. You know, and I would tell stories about, you know, I said I could make the best, and this is the way I sell it, I could make the best cookie in the world, but I'm not very good at frosting. I could beat my head against the wall all day long and try to come up with frosting, or I could work with the best frosting guy in the whole wide world.
Exactly.
That's folds into all this work. We're too small, and I joke about this with everybody, to fight against each other. Albany's not sending us any money to bail us out. We got to work together.
This is the total, right?
We have to collaborate. So there's 45 different agencies I've worked with over the years, throughout, and even in Buffalo and what have you. We've done things like work with Quality Stars New York.
I know Quality Stars.
We spoke about the child care and stuff like
Stars,
that.
yep.
We've done early childhood institutes. We've done the Mindfulness and Movement Initiative, where we went into schools and worked with kids on social emotional stuff. We had Lisa Murphy, she's the Ooey Gooey lady. She's a national speaker. She performed in Jamestown this year for 2 days in the summer to train, 130 early childhood professionals and things like that. So the coalition, under the auspice of the Resource Center Chautauqua Connections Inc., has allowed me to learn this job.
Wow.
I actually, in the interview, I was telling you about Paul. And I was trying to deny the job. I was scared. And I told him, and it was a feat of genius by the Resource Center at the time, because I said, I don't know anything about birth to 5. You have the wrong guy here. And he said, that's why we want you, because you don't know anything about it. I want
you're
your
an
opinion.
outsider coming in.
You go and learn it, and you tell me. And that's literally what happened.
Well, this is almost like homecoming for me. We're having this discussion because I started with BOCES January 1 of 1974. And I was teaching children from 5 to 12, and that was before they had all the rules and regulations, because today that would be totally outlawed because of the age groups. You only had the 3 age span, and I had to span more than 2 or 3 groups. Anyways, the point I was making was I was teaching children with disabilities, mental disabilities. So we used to call them children with retardation. And they were the mid-range. You normally wouldn't have seen these kids in school. You do now, but back then you didn't. And without going into great detail, the point I'm trying to make was, well, where did the kids come from? Well, the kids were coming from the Resource Center. And I don't know if you run into Grace Kent. Still around. Yep. Grace was my feeder from the Resource Center.
Yep.
And Jim DePonso, who was one of the very first executive directors of the Resource Center. He helped start the Resource Center back in the 60s. I replaced him for a year. I didn't even know this at the time. He used to teach for BOCES. He went to the Resource Center to kind of get things moving for a year, and I was there as an interim. They never told me I was interim. I never knew I was just like, could be let go when I was done. Well, long story short, it all worked out because somebody retired and I took their slot and on and on and on. But the point is that the Resource Center and the BOCES has had an ongoing friendship for years, but it was still siloed.
Yeah.
It was still their grant money, our grant money, and then the funny thing was after we were done with them at 21, where did they go? Back to the Resource Center.
Absolutely.
So over time, I know I personally worked closely with agencies like the Resource Center and COI too. I worked with them, and even the county agencies, and we started to smooth out a lot of these transitions and trying to figure out life plans for kids and things like that. So this is like homecoming for me. This is really cool.
Yeah.
Okay.
Absolutely.
So you mentioned the coalition. So I kind of got that. So that's a subset of the Resource Center.
Sure.
You got Jamestown City Schools over here. Wow. So I scheduled Toys for Tots. So
You did.
How in the world did we get? Where's that come from?
Toys for Tots is it's under the the Resource Center does a ton for Toys for Tots. That's not a secret. I mean, the Resource Center does mega stuff for the Resource Center for Toys for Tots. But with there's two women that work for the Resource Center, Terry Johnson and Heather Brown, who serve as the coordinators for Toys for Tots in Chautauqua County. I think they've done it for about 20 years now. So now I have a relationship with the Resource Center for 13 years. About 6 years ago, I started getting involved with Toys for Tots. I had a couple dear friends that did it also, that were relatives of theirs. And Toys for Tots is always kind of like, it's a huge program, but if you looked at the structure of it here in Chautauqua County, it's like a hodgepodge. It's like, hey, can you help us with this? Or hey, can you come and help us with that? And what we started to do was, and we joke about it, and at the time I thought I had this notice of brilliance. It's made it a little harder, but more kids are getting stuff. So individual families would sign up for Toys for Tots through their website, what have you. But then I started working with all these agencies, 45 of them around the county, and the Marines have it is easy enough as you can fill out one piece of paper and you can get multiple children from multiple families. So for example, like a COI, if you're a service provider for COI and you service 10 families in Chautauqua County and they're all qualify for the needs of Toys for Tots, that one service provider can fill out one piece of paper and get toys for 50 or 60 kids at a time. So instead of now us trying to reach the one family, we're reaching 50 kids with one service
and
provider.
access.
Yep.
Families that are in need a lot of times don't have a computer.
Sure.
They don't even know where to sign up.
Right.
And let's get to the bilingual thing. A lot of times, and I'm not picking in any particular language because we have multiple languages in Chautauqua County. They don't understand what in the world this thing's all about. And a lot of people are hesitant to sign up for things because they don't know what they're signing up for these days. So let's get into the weeds on this now. So where did Toys for Tots come from? You mentioned Marines, and it's like, whoa, how did this get involved? And all this stuff.
Yeah, the Marine Corps is a national sponsor. It was like, I believe, mid-50s. There's a story behind it. I've spoken at many events about this. There was a Marine in reserve in California at the time, who and his wife made baby dolls. Like she just made them, said, here, go donate this to somebody. And the story goes that there wasn't anybody to donate them to. So the Marines, he started it. The Marines came up with it. So the Marines oversee it nationally, and they're a huge, leader in Toys for Tots, and you see it all over. I just was in the store the other day, and Lay's potato chips, for some reason, I don't know why, probably because of the logo, I looked at it, they donate portions of their proceeds to Toys for Tots. I mean, you'll see that now. But in Chautauqua County, it's very regimented. I mean, the Marines are the Marines. They're, we have Terry goes to the training in Virginia, and it's dress blues. You're eating in the mess. It's pretty regimented.
I had no idea.
It's in September, and then me being an educator, I get to miss that. Thank goodness. She's told me that when I retire, that I'm picking that one up and I'm going there. But
hoorah!
Yeah, exactly. It's very regimented. I mean, and for a good reason. I mean, it's very if we sometimes we get cash where we go buy things that we're missing. the receipt that day is emailed to them.
Yep.
They want to know where it went out of your account.
So what you're saying is everything that happens in Chautauqua County is funneled to a parent agency?
Everything in Chautauqua County stays local. Well, no, we still have individual families, but basically with the agencies, what
No, I meant the oversight.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
Oh, so
Yeah.
so there's a national Toys for Tots.
Yeah, we like we have a debit card. They oversee our account. Everything comes from the
So
Marine
that's
Corps.
part I didn't know. I thought
Yeah.
I
No.
thought this is a local initiative.
No,
Wow.
no. The Marines they're all over the world, and they start us out in the year with an early shipment of toys that they probably get from like Lay's. We'll always get Mattel toys. They'll have deals with toy companies too.
Wow.
So we'll get an email that says, "Hey, we took over 200 pallets of toys from Mattel Toys that they donated, and we're sending you one of the pallets." And
Super.
things will come in. And there's a gentleman who's actually a savior. His name's Mike Roberts. He owns Allied Alarms in Chautauqua down in Faulkner. He's the host of Toy Central, we call it. He gives us probably 10,000 feet a year, and we just keep our stuff there year round. And then he assists us with his other building to actually hand out.
Well, good on him.
Yeah, he's a man from heaven. But when we, not that I did this, but when we brought the agencies along, we went from about the mid 2000s of toys for kids to last year we did 4,395 kids. So we've just
4,395 kids.
in Chicago County. It'll be more this year. It'll be more this year.
All right. So staying in the weeds here.
Okay.
So you got this great program that provides toys at Christmas, but only at Christmas time.
Only Christmas.
All right. Who's eligible? What's the?
It's an income requirement. You know, they would meet an income requirement. People that are struggling or what have you, in different scenarios. You know, I've lost my job. I've just moved here. Things like that. But that's where the agencies have come in because we've been able to reach more. And the really magical part is like, so people really love Toys for Tots. Like I can tell you that from, you know, when we get into it, but from November to December, my phone rings off the hook of people that want to volunteer, they want to give. Nobody wants to see a child go without at Christmas time. Nobody. So with the agencies, what they've added, the special bonuses, a lot of times they'll choose the toy. Like I could pack a bag of toys for a kid, but I don't know him. I don't know what he likes. I mean, I get some suggestions on a piece of paper, but the agency worker that works with a child, well, they know him. They know what he likes to do. So now we've meshed that now it's really quality stuff that's getting to the kids, and they
So
know.
you like dinosaurs, you're going to get dinosaurs.
Absolutely, right. Yeah, absolutely.
Wow.
Yeah. Or age brackets or.
All right. So is this countywide?
Countywide, Jamestown to Dunkirk. So the resource center, Lynn Newman's, she's a resource center employee. She runs our North County operation. And she's up there, so we go, you know, Jamestown to Dunkirk, and I'm back and forth on route. I'm going to I'm going to the Colts game, which we'll get the result next week. But there's a toy drive at Dollar General tomorrow, from 2 to 5. The volunteer fire department's doing it. They do it every year. I'll drop my boxes off to the toy drive on the way out to Highmark Stadium. I'll watch the game, and at 5 o'clock, I'll come back. I'll shake hands, I'll take some pictures, I'll take the toys, and I go back to the warehouse with them. I mean, that happens all around the county all the time.
Wow. All right. So if somebody's listening right now, and they know of a situation where a family has moved into the area or recently hard on their luck, okay, down on their luck, how do they get into the system?
Facebook. We have Chautauqua County Toys for Tots. We also have a website, Chautauqua County Toys for Tots. We're on our Facebook system answering, messages like that all the time. We have Messenger with a Facebook page, and there were 2 this morning.
Is there a phone number?
It's the resource center. You could ask for, it's 483-2344, 716-483.
Whoa, 483.
2344, which is the resource.
2344.
You ask for Terry or Heather.
Okay. Or somebody.
They'll appreciate the fact that I gave it.
Well,
but, yeah, absolutely.
And you probably won't get many calls, but but if one family,
that's what it takes.
And the thing is that I find, and lots of times people say, well, you know, what's the word? I'm ashamed. You know, I'm ashamed to make this call because we don't have money to buy something for the kids this year, or whatever. Sometimes grandparents know about this. Sometimes aunts, neighbors.
Yes.
Okay. And can they call on behalf of that child?
We get those calls. Oh, absolutely. I know a family that does this, and I want to help them. Or we'll do that. We do a lot with schools now with the agencies and stuff. Hey, guidance counselors will see a family of need, and they'll reach out to us and things like that. Yeah, those calls come in all the time from different people too.
Well, it sounds like you're hardwired pretty well in the county so far.
We are, yeah. I mean, the Resource Center in Dunkirk obviously is a huge help. I mean, they have a facility up there. Even the last couple of years, we went from me driving stuff up 60 all the time to now we just ship it to them. You know, Denise Jones and those guys have been really good about us just storing stuff at their place up there.
Right.
And Lynn's awesome, and we've matched partners up there. We have a partner up there. We're doing a toy drive on. So with COVID, we started doing these drives, drive-through toy drives. We're doing 2 on the 27th, one in the north of November.
So that's today.
Next week. Or today, it is next week. It is like, I apologize.
We're in the future
We're
now.
in the future.
Back to the future.
It's today. So from 12 to 2 at the Chautauqua Mall in Jamestown and Kirk's Jewelers in Dunkirk. Kirk's Jewelers has become an incredible partner. So we have these drive-through toy drives for COVID-friendly purposes. You can just drive up, pop your trunk, we'll grab them. Thank you very much. Happy holidays, and off you go. There's a group in Jamestown, Exceptional Stars Athletics, that a teacher by the name of Rich Bianco oversees. He pairs students with disabilities. He's in Faulkner. He pairs students with disabilities with kids without disabilities as buddies and stuff like that. He'll be assisting us, and his group will be assisting us from noon to 2 at the mall.
Will there be other drive-thrus, or is that it?
Those 2 are that. We had one in early October,
Right,
and then our handout day is December 18th will be the distribution day. So we're pretty heavy up to there. We handle a few things after that, but we've been flying since mid-October probably.
Okay, so there it is, right there.
Yep, that's the one at
For the Chautauqua Mall.
Chautauqua Mall, Lakewood.
And the other one's at Kirk's Jewelers. Is that Dunkirk?
The other one's in Kirk's on Vineyard Drive there in Dunkirk. Yeah.
Okay, super.
Yeah, and
Okay.
they've been phenomenal too.
All right, so staying with my little scenario here.
Sure.
So somebody signs up, and do they get notified that they're going to get?
Yeah, they'll get an email and they'll say this is your pickup date, or if it's through the agency, we like today or every Saturday there are agencies that come to the warehouse to then pick up what they've ordered also. So yeah, they come down, and then we'll have that distribution day on December 18th, and they'll have a notification where they show up with their ID and their notification paper, and that's also drive-through. Thank you to the Chautauqua County Emergency Management Team. They help us because it is like a Bills game. I mean, these cars are coming in, and my touch with the schools is I'll get some volunteers or even high school kids, National Honor Society kids, to help with the distribution, and they just drive up and here's my paper, here's my ID, here's the last name we need, go get the bag, put it in the trunk, and off they go. So it's really flawless.
So it seems to me then, people are watching right now, you don't need a car.
Nope.
You don't need a computer. You just need somebody that can make contact with you guys or that phone number, 483-2344. And some form is filled out. And so now you mentioned income. So then you have to show income tax, or is this?
Whatever if they're receiving assistance or whatever, but that's a card. Some people have an EBT card, something like that. That verify your income, verify your license. Or
is there a ballpark figure that we're looking at here that is the cutoff?
I really don't think so. I mean, it's probably below a certain level, but I'm not.
It's low enough.
Yeah, it's low enough. Yeah, it's low enough for 4,000, almost 5,000 kids. Sure. I mean, we're 70-some% poverty in Chautauqua County, I think, somewhere around there.
Okay, so during the drive-through, a question just came up. Believe it or not, we use technology here all the time.
All right.
It just popped up. What kind of presents you looking for? What kind of toys?
So every child gets a stocking stuffer, a small toy, and a big toy. So
you get 3 things.
You get 3 things for every child. So
Wow.
a small toy, we try to do like if we see a family of a couple or 4 or something like that, we'll throw in board games, puzzles, things like that. We get those books. We just got a shipment of books the other day. They get 3 toys. So a larger toy is like in the $20, $25 range. Something smaller is $5, $10, and then stocking stuffers. They would get that, and that's per child. And so when you bring stuff to the toy drive, you name it, we get it. From dolls to teens, they'll do like little makeup kits for teen girls, purses, football, sports equipment, board games.
And we're talking new.
Brand new. when they say not wrapped, I mean not Christmas paper wrapped. We can't accept anything that's wrapped into Christmas paper. So it's brand new in the store plastic.
Got it.
Stuffed animals, things like that. You name it, we get it.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So now they got their paperwork in.
Yep.
You see how I'm very logical on this,
That's okay.
and this is not me, but this is how I have to be on the show. So you got. So then you get a notice, December whatever, come to wherever,
Sure.
and you have your paperwork, and then you get your presents, and
Off you go. They're yours to go wrap under the tree.
off you go. Okay. And people say, well, maybe there's people just fraudulent. I mean, is there?
Sometimes that happens. We try not to compete, so we'll. Salvation Army has a great program that they distribute some things like. We don't want, and we've told programs, like, I didn't realize this, like with angel tree tags and stuff like that. If there are agencies that are churches will get calls from, say, listen, our donations are down, we're not getting people into cope because of COVID, we're not getting in, can you help us out? We're allowed, if you can prove that their income level, which it will, meet our Marine requirement, we'll help you. Well, we help a lot of different people. So, yeah, I mean, we do have to, you're not allowed to receive two from different agencies. That's what the Marines were really...
No double dipping.
No double dipping, no double dipping. But once you can prove that, like, it's really good. And it's, I mean, not that, there are, sometimes those things come up. That comes up with anything. It is what it is.
But it sounds like you got a pretty good control.
We do.
on
We
things.
do have a good control of it. Yep.
Okay. With the drive through and the pick up, masks, what's the COVID
Absolutely.
deal?
Yeah. The kids will be in things like that. We try to make it safe, even though we're outdoors. I mean, we are ticking up there, and we follow all the policies. In fact, that's so one thing we've had to do. We've learned some things through COVID. The drive-through toy drive is one thing we never did. We also have an Amazon page on our Facebook page that we've gone by and bookmarked toys. So if you don't feel comfortable going into a store to purchase a toy and put it in there, you can have it drop shipped right to the warehouse from your living room.
How cool is that?
So I mean, we've learned some things from that. But as far as the kids we used to do a bagging day in one day, and literally it was chaos. It was like 100 people, families would come of 4 or whatever, would come and bag all in one day. Well, because of COVID and contact tracing, we now only do 6. And we use a tool called Sign Up Genius where we list that on and we just, Heather's really good with that. She lists everything in the beginning of the toy season, and then so if you and your family want to go bag toys one day, you just go on there and there's 4 slots available. We'll take these 4 slots and you show up and do it. So we've had to worry about things like that a little bit, which everybody has.
Yeah.
But we've adapted. We've done well with it, and people are very respectful. We have you sign in, so if we have to contact trace, we can, and we've had to do that. We've been through the gamut like everybody else, but that's okay, and we've adapted, and we kind of split it up a little bit. Terry takes care of Terry's really good with the Marines and the buying and all that stuff. She was at the warehouse last night. And Heather and Lynn are really good with the posts, and Heather wrangles up all the sponsors and things like that. And she bags. Heather goes down with bags with her husband on Saturdays and Sundays. They were down there last week. And I'm kind of like the muscle. I'm the warehouse guy. I'm moving toys up and down on freight elevators. And there isn't a time. I take my kids to school, and his buddies live across the street. And sometimes I'm like, hey man, just throw that bag of toys in the back of the bed of the truck and hop on in. I'm always collecting stuff up. Yeah.
Okay, let's take a little breather. Folks, you're watching Chautauqua Sunrise. I'm Doc Hamels, and my guest today is Pat Smeraldo, who is representing Toys for Tots and a bevy of other organizations. But what I want to say right now is this. My Rotary Club started a project 3 years ago where we were collecting Christmas cards, and we've been distributing them to folks that are shut-ins and invalids and so forth. And I put an article out this year, and we got an overwhelming response to that little project of well over 2,000 Christmas cards. So I want to say thank you for those of you that contributed. But the point I want to make is Chautauqua County probably has one of the biggest hearts as a community that I've ever seen in the area, bar none. And so from what I'm hearing, through the donations, the volunteers, the organization, your work, all the folks at the Resource Center, this is one more example of big hearts people caring for each other here in Chautauqua County. So good on all of you guys.
Thank you.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's something else. Okay. So a family per child could actually end up with about somewhere around $40 worth of.
Sure. Yeah, absolutely.
And they don't have to, and you multiply that by however many kids. Now you're talking some serious money because some families have 4 or 5 kids.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. We get those. Sure. Absolutely. We'll go out with, we have huge, like 60-gallon garbage bags and stuff like that. Yeah. We go out with big donations, and like you mentioned, different things that we've been able to. People are very generous. Businesses are extremely generous. Probably have 75-ish boxes out around the county,
mackerel.
Dollar Generals and things like that, where we have volunteers that then monitor the box, and then they go and pick out the toys for us, bring them to us every week.
Right,
and stuff
worker
like that.
bees.
Yeah, they're coming in. And then that's how we meshed it into the parade, too. We kind of made the holiday parade in Jamestown like the Toys for Tots thing because we collaborated, and that's the key to this. All this makes it happen. Absolutely.
So folks who are watching right now might be thinking, well, what ages are we talking here that you collect for?
Birth to teenagers. Yeah, you name it. Babies.
Well, let's go teenager. What age? 18?
Yeah, 18. Yeah.
All right,
Absolutely.
so 1 to 18.
Yeah, we'll do. And that's those ages. Like babies are people. Like if you want a Barbie doll, I can get you as many Barbie dolls as you want right now. But I mean, sometimes people like look at babies and stuff like that. So people are also very generous with money and things like that. We work with discount toy companies or Dollar Generals or things like that in the county that we then go and buy what we're lacking. So that's what we do with the funds that we take. We'll go and get athletic watches for teenage boys or things like that. Any type of an older kid toy or prize or gift or whatever for girls also.
All right, so drive through, you drop off your donations, and you mentioned cash donations. So how do people donate if they just want to send you a few bucks?
They're our website. We have our website, we have Venmo, we have things like that. We do promotions. We have a holiday raffle going on right now where, so talk about the community now, Wegmans and Tots have donated over $1,500 in gift cards. So we have my company, CCS, donated a television. We have a bunch of prizes on here from the Sabers and the Bills. So if they go to the Facebook page, there's a
Facebook page is what now?
Chautauqua County Toys for Tots.
Chautauqua County Toys.
You'll know you're there with a little teddy bear in the sled.
Tots.
That's where you're at.
All right, and so on there is a button.
Yep. Yeah. You can go in there. We have Venmo. There's tickets you can do. We're doing, you can come to our events. We're doing a Friday on the 3rd at Southern Tier Distillery. I mean, we're out in the community doing these events too.
Say that word again, Friday.
So yeah.
What is a Friday?
Southern Tier Distillery.
This is like charcuterie.
Yeah,
I'm learning all these new words on these shows.
I didn't know about it until last year either. So Southern Tier has a distillery where they make the booze and the liquor and stuff like that. So I think it's the first Friday every month.
Friday.
They offer it to a non-for-profit, which we are, to do a celebrity bartend night. And they give us,
okay, I gotcha.
Yeah, they give us the
McDonald's used to do that with teachers.
The proceeds, they donate a bunch of the proceeds and the tips and whatever. So on December 3rd, Friday night, we're there. Toys for Tots is from 5 to 8 doing Toys for Tots.
What's called Friday?
Friday, that's what they call it. So we did it last year. We're doing it again this year. It's a happy hour thing that people come to, and they're
Friday.
Absolutely. And you're welcome. Andy Goodell and Andy was there last year. We spoke a bunch, and people from companies and things pop in, and we'll just give us a check. Hey, Merry Christmas. Here you go, get the kids something, stuff like that.
You guys took time, Terry did, and you to send me a bunch of photos. So let's not waste them. So Jeff, one by one, I don't care whatever order you guys decided, let's pop them up and have a little chat about them.
Sure.
So let's go. And remember, we have radio listeners, so we'll try to describe it as we see them, okay? All right, bring them up.
That is my company logo. So I've started a little company we could touch in a little bit. I've kind of intertwined in with Toys for Tots and some other projects we're doing. So I'm Collaborative Children's Solutions. Comes from my work with Chautauqua Connections Inc. and the stuff I've learned the last 13
years. All right, and for those that are listening, it's a school bus with CCS on it. So it's not Casadega Central School.
It is not Casadega Central School.
It's not Clymer Central School. Collaborative Children's Solutions. All right, so let's make a deal. We'll come back to that when we're done.
Sure.
All right, what's the next one?
That is for the raffle right there. So if you go to our Facebook page, that's where it shows the groceries that were donated, the lottery tickets. There's Buffle Sabers fan pack. adventure pack parks. So we sell those tickets for $10 each or 3 for $20. And literally with Venmo, you can Venmo Toys for Tots the money. We take, what I do is I'll take a picture of the stub, and then I shoot the picture, and then the money goes in the Venmo, and then we do the drawing.
Okay, so I'm looking at $1,300.
From Wegmans, $250 from Tots.
Wait a minute, so that's total.
$1,500. Yep, $1,550.
So there's a variety of gift cards there, and then you've got some restaurants.
Yep, some takeout from web. Well, we have gift certificates. A lot of times, restaurants will say, "Hey, here, take a gift certificate and use it for a prize."
So let's give them a little juice here. There's Webb's and Pizza Express, Danny B's. I'm not sure where's that one.
That's in the 3rd Street Plaza in Jamestown.
Alina's.
Yep.
I know them.
Yep.
Cherry Lounge. I know that one. Game Time. Where's
Is
that?
the bowling alley on Foot in Jamestown?
And Guppy's, of course, is on the lake.
Yep. And then we have some others in there.
All right. And then going along, we got Chillin' with a new TV. What are you giving away? 50-inch.
So yeah, my company CCS, we've donated a new TV that we took in from Acme Appliance in Jamestown, and then we've donated that as the prize.
All right. So that'll be a very nice Christmas present. 50 inches. Nice size. Okay. Then you got the Buffle Sabers fan pack. So what's involved with that?
We write. Heather does that. She writes the Buffalo Sabers. So they a Colin Miller autographed puck, Eichel pop-up figure, Sabers beach towel, little package there. Followed up with the adventure pack underneath, and then the lottery ticket one, which is listed as number 5, is we do $150 worth of assorted lottery tickets, scratch-off tickets.
Yeah, it could be winning a little bit of money there.
Sure.
And then the last one is Fun and Adventure prize pack. What's that?
2 Darien Lake passes, $50 gift certificate to Mulligan's on Fairmount, which is the new.
Oh, we talked about them not long ago. They're there with I forgot what it's called.
Yeah. It's like the drive.
They do the golfing.
Yeah,
all
it's
kinds
indoor
of different-
simulators.
Yeah.
And then we have some other stuff that we'll add to that. But yeah, those are the prizes for our drawing.
Wow.
And that's always a popular drawing.
And this is at Wegmans.
The prizes the tickets you can purchase through our Facebook site.
Okay.
Or contact any one of us, Terry, Heather, Lynn, and myself.
Jeff, you were saying something? Okay, and the drawing is December 18th.
December 18th, that'll be the handout day. The day that we distribute is the day we kind of wrap up toys. Sometimes it doesn't always happen that way, but we'll draw. So you have up until December 18th.
All right, super. So that's everybody can jump on that one. All right.
Absolutely, yeah.
Okay, let's keep going. What else we got?
So that is the sign for when you'll see the ESA logo there. That's the drive-through toy drive on
today.
Today, noon
November
to 2.
27th.
Yep, noon to 2. We'll be at right outside of Ollie's. Ollie's has been a huge, good, quick partner to ours here in the county.
Okay.
So that's where the drive-through is.
You're making my head spin with all these different agencies.
Yeah.
Oh, all right, what do we got? Santa Claus.
So that's part of the holiday weekend for the parade. So on December 4th, we have a lady named Ellen Kegelmeyer, who's a Resource Center employee, and she does these craft fairs where people will bring a table and they sign. So what Ellen has done over the years is she takes the registration money for the crafters and she donates it to Toys for Tots.
Right.
And then it gives the crafters an outlet to then sell their products. So that's December 4th at Fluvanna Community Church.
Now, is she looking for more crafters?
Sure, absolutely. Yeah, she can be reached through the Resource Center too, 716-483-2344, or just message us on the Facebook page.
Any idea how much a table is?
I don't. I think it's in the $20, $30
Very
range. I don't think
modest.
yeah, absolutely.
Very modest.
Yeah.
Okay, great. Oh, look at this. These are bags and bags and bags and bags of something. What's in there?
That's handout last year only in the South County. So that building's on Blackstone Avenue. Mike Roberts from Allied has that building also. That's how we do the drive-through handout, the distribution day. So those stickers you see on them are all named by last name, and that's the car drives in. They're all in alphabetical order. A volunteer goes in, gets that bag, and takes it to the car.
Holy mackerel.
Yeah, that's part of 4,395 kids.
That's awesome.
Yeah. It's
Okay,
great.
Yeah.
That is our float that you'll see. Well, it's going to be a little different. I'm working on a new float, but that was the holiday parade. So this year, running the holiday parade, Santa Claus is always the end. Santa, we've arranged for Santa to fly in with his reindeer.
Oh, boy.
So Santa's going to be at the last float of the parade, at the holiday parade on December 4th. He'll be driven by Schultz. The Toys for Tots float will drag behind it, will be pulled behind it. And my son, my 16-year-old, runs for the Jamestown cross country team. So he and his teammates will walk along with that float, and their coach, Kristen Hockenberry and Steve Sipier and Tony Dolson, those guys, and they'll gather. Another way to donate a toy, they're going to gather the toys that the crowd brings to the parade. So Santa Claus will be collecting the toys at the parade.
So lots of opportunities. Okay, now we got Sabers.
That's literally
What's
one of
going
the
on here?
funnest nights of the year. So Keith Martin, who's been a friend of mine for over 30 years, he's a general manager of the Northwest Ice Arena, and Joe Coombs, who's the Rebels coach down there. I was telling the guys when I came in years ago in Canada, 93, 94, minor league hockey team in Canada started a teddy bear toss. So when everybody brought a stuffed animal to the game, when the team scored their first goal, the home team, they threw all the animals onto the thing. And that's us collecting them a couple of weeks ago.
Oh,
so we
cool.
collected over 800 stuffed animals. So
What?
the Rebels, yeah.
800?
It's becoming like a thing, and Joe and Keith and Megan and all the people at the ice arena are fantastic, and they promote this for us. So, and the Resource Center does. The Resource Center buys out the night and buys the tickets, gives them to their employees, and everybody brings. And my wife and I take those back home. We throw them in a dryer and fluff them up and get them all dry again and hand them out to kids.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Maybe my band should do that. We should have throw teddy bears at the band.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. Yeah, people are very generous in the most creative ways you'd ever think of. It really is. I mean, I've had kids. I have students that will, I spoke at Jamestown High School earlier in the week to National Honor Society. I try to involve kids in whatever I can do. They need volunteers hour. There's a group of kids from the Storm Soccer Club a couple weeks ago. We held a drive-through toy drive at Foot Avenue Plaza. My friend Salim Saravia owns the plaza, and we had the drive-through toy drive, and that's the church by the high school there with Jane Young, who's a Resource Center employee in the front there on the right, on the left, and she's there. She's with the church, and the folks there made a cash donation and a bunch of toys, and the soccer kids do community service by helping them collect the
So
toys.
last year, 4,400 kids,
Yep.
basically. So how many you're projecting this year? Any idea?
Probably going to be over that. Yeah. We're on projection for that. I mean, I don't. You want to. It's a double-edged sword. Want to get to 5,000? I want to say we gave out 5,000 toys.
but you don't want to.
But I want to get to 5,000.
No, you
because
want
5,000
the number to
means-
go down, hopefully, but it doesn't.
Yeah, you'd love to. I mean, that means we'd be doing great. But 5,000 toys means we're at the warehouse first thing in the morning. That's at Kirk's last year. Toys for Tots. Kirk's Jewelers has been phenomenal up in the north, and that's another drive-through toy drive. So masked, and we're all safe. That little girl right there, her name escapes me. We've had a couple of people doing this. I just had a buddy of mine call me and ask to do this. Little kids now are looking to help and be helpers in the world. And that little girl had a birthday party. And instead of birthday presents, she asked for toys to be donated.
Isn't that great?
So then she drove up and she donated
Super.
her presents to the kids of Chautauqua.
Jeff, we have any more slides? Oh, there's one more.
Oh, that's the parade.
Okay. Well, we're down to a minute and a half, so let's talk about the parade quick.
So the holiday parade.
We've been talking about December 4th.
Mayor of Jamestown, New York is a former student of mine,
Eddie.
Eddie Sundquist. And so is his controller, and so is his attorney. I called Eddie a couple weeks ago and asked about what we could do for Toys for Tots, at the parade. And the city's struggling with manpower right now with ARPA funds and whatever. We had to get people to do it. He said, how about CCS? You guys in Toys for Tots, you guys want to get involved? So my company, we're going to do it. We're in collaboration with the city. So on Friday evening, the Friday is a Toys for Tots event. Saturday morning, 10 to 4 is the craft show. 4 o'clock, we're having the Mistletoe Mile, which is it's a fun run, kind of like a turkey trot-ish thing downtown Jamestown. 6 o'clock, we're having the traditional parade in downtown. 8 o'clock, the mayor will light the tree with some special guests. And at 8:05, there'll be a fireworks show from the ramp.
Wow.
And CCS is doing all that with the city and Toys for Tots. And the Resource Center came up, connections you could see. And I do want to say on that poster there were 5 credit unions. John Felton from Southern Chautauqua Federal Credit Union has been a blessing. He wrangled up 4 of his buddies at other things, and they're financing the fireworks show.
Excellent. We're down to like minutes, seconds now, seconds. So a phone number or the Facebook page, whatever you like.
Phone number is the Resource Center. Facebook page is the best way. Terry and Heather and I, we're all monitoring it. Yep, absolutely.
Okay, so Toys for Tots, no, Chautauqua County Toys for
Chautauqua
Tots.
County Toys for Tots.
On Facebook, 483-2344 for the Resource Center. Pat, we're out of time.
We're out of time. Thank you so much. This is
We crammed in a lot of information there. Folks, worthy cause, check it out. A million ways to contribute or support this great effort. So hopefully we'll do well on that, and I wish you luck. Folks, we're going to do this all again next Saturday morning. Take care, and get out there and enjoy all the good things here in Chautauqua County. We'll look at and watch the parades that are around the area too. Take care. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye now.